Welcome to the Productpreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Nicole Delarzak, product development and marketing coach and mom of three. Learn from and get inspired by women entrepreneurs killing it in the product space. Each episode, we will share the latest trends, proven strategies, and inside secrets of the product world, all designed to give you greater confidence to create your own success through a product venture. Let's do this. Welcome to the Productpreneur Podcast. I'm so thrilled to introduce today's guest, who is such an inspiration. But first, let me share a listener review. This is from the avid listener. I was so fortunate to meet Nicole a few years ago, and am so happy to have found her podcast. Her expertise and knowledge when it comes to product-based businesses is incredible, and she explains it in an easy-to-digest fashion. I highly recommend this podcast. Thank you so much, avid listener. I think I know who you are. It was my honor to have met you, and I'm so thrilled that you love the podcast. Now, if you're listening to these episodes and haven't already done so, please take a minute to give a 5-star review on iTunes, and I'd be super grateful, and you'll also help others find the show. This episode is brought to you by my workshop. Is it 2021 yet? Let's get strategic with our marketing efforts to make it a fabulously successful year. It's time to plan, prepare, and kick butt. 2021, we will be ready for you. Join this free interactive workshop to get clear on your goals and design your strategic marketing plan. So sign up by December 14th and head on over to the link in my show notes or to my website, nicoledelarzak.com, to sign up. Go ahead and do that now. All right, on with the show. Sunandini Verma is the founder of Amrev Media, Inc., a marketing and technology solutions company. She studied communications and broadcast journalism and did the whole TV movie world for a bit. That journey allowed Sunandini to travel and gain experience in different corners of the world. Post-broadcasting, Sunandini decided to transition into her own business since marketing comes naturally to her as she grew up around businesses. Sunandini since then has launched multiple different businesses, such as a CBD-based skincare line, Mahi Skin. She's also helped businesses create and launch their apps, grow their marketing, and help them increase their revenue. I had such a great chat with Sunandini about the challenges of working in the CBD industry, ways to market your brand when you're not allowed to advertise, tools to manage multiple businesses or projects, and so much more. Now let's dive in and hear from our amazing guest. Welcome, Sunandini. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me, Nicole. I'm really excited to be on your podcast and talk about my product line and, connect with your listeners as well.
Yeah, I think they're going to love it because I think what you're doing is so unique. So this is really cool. I can't wait to chat about it. But first, I wanted to chat with you about how you got into this space. How did you ever decide to launch your own product? Because I know your background is quite broad.
Yeah, so actually I have a app development and marketing agency, and we're service driven, so we're constantly putting out products for other people and helping other people go to market. So I thought, hey, I should probably have a product and something that helps me make my life easier, but also something that can make me money while I sleep. Like if I'm not online, it will still be sort of self-fulfilling, and that's where my skincare company was born, which is Mahi Skin, and we're a CBD based company. Very exciting. So here we are.
Wow, that's so cool. I want to dive right into the CBD aspect of it. But when did you actually launch your business?
It's actually only been about a year and a half. We launched last year in 2019 in spring, and we didn't actually get to launch our store online till I believe it was end of June 2019. So it's just been just over a year and a half.
Amazing. I love the fact that you said that you can earn while you sleep, which is really what I love about product businesses, that you're not trading time for money. And it's always something that I preach. So I love that you just said that. I didn't pay her to say that.
It's true. I love seeing like the numbers just go, like every day there's that momentum around the sales and like how much did you sell? How much traction is your product getting? I love that feeling. Whereas on my my service-driven business, I don't get that excitement of like, it's very project-based. So it's like chunks. Whereas this is like constant momentum. I love that feeling.
Yeah, that's so cool. You must see the dollar signs go up. Woohoo, cha-ching. Yeah, that's awesome. And how did you come up with the idea with your skincare? Why did you think there was a need?
Yeah, definitely. So actually skincare is something that's always been really important to me, but I realized that over the years, my routine was getting way too complicated. When I was younger, it was just like, wash my face with Dove soap and call it a day. But as you get older, there's certain precautions that you want to take, and your skin changes and certain things happen. Like I started breaking out when I hit a certain age. So I wanted something that really connects with my skin and is a little bit different, but also simple. Because as I got older, I started stacking products on, like this serum, that serum. I have like 20 serums, this day cream. And really, I would use all of them maybe once or twice and then forget about it because it was just too complicated. So I wanted something that would simplify my life and be a simple process. And then I started experimenting with CBD oil externally on the skin because I'd heard wonderful things about it. So I found a few different serums that are in the market and oils. But my problem with the oil is that it was way too heavy for my skin. I have like very thin skin. I have a combination skin. So again, like I'm like, okay, I can't use this because I don't have dry skin. I can't use this because I don't have oily skin. So just really creating something that applies to all skin types really and genuinely, not for only oily skin. So that's where the need really came from. And the idea really came from as well, because I was like, okay, CBD is great. However, this specific product is too oily for me. So I want something that is a little bit more balanced. And then at that point, CBD was also becoming very hot. So that was really the next logical step for me, that, hey, why don't I try creating my own product line? I wanted to do something in product, and maybe, this is the one. So that's where it came from.
And what does CBD oil do in skincare? Like, what are the benefits?
CBD is actually a natural receptor in our skin. So essentially, it helps balance your skin. It helps with the anti-aging as well. It helps with pore reduction. It helps with reducing any antioxidants that come into the skin. So let's say throughout the day you're getting pollution that also hits your face. It helps remove pollution from your skin, helps build a protectant layer. I mean, there's tons and tons of advantages, but when you look at like the overall bird's eye view, helps with acne big time, helps with things like eczema, and it helps with anti-aging, discoloration, and hydration as well. So really that's where
Wow.
the all needs aspect really comes in, because everybody fits into one of those categories. Like if you've got overly oily skin, it helps balance that skin by hydrating it. If your skin is too dry, it helps again balance your skin by hydrating it. So the advantages are absolutely endless.
Interesting. And now, are you the only CBD skincare out there, or are there others as well?
There are definitely others, and a lot of companies have unique formulas that they've used. I actually used to work for a company named Yves Rocher
Oh,
for
right.
many, 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 many years. I think my first exposure to skincare as a child was them. My mom's a big fan. So pretty much all through high school and university, I worked for them as well. So I picked up a lot of things about certain ingredients that are really, really helpful. So I tried to incorporate that into the actual skincare line as well, such as like apple stem and aloe vera, like pure aloe vera gel. Peppermint is actually one of those ingredients that you wouldn't think obviously is amazing for acne, and really the cooling effect that comes with that reduces redness. So just picking up ingredients along the way as well.
And did you also, because I remember you said that you found it all really complicated, did you simplify the steps of skincare with your line?
Absolutely. Thank you for asking that question, because again, like it's such an important thing. Like we have only 4 products. I don't want to grow that line into anything further and more complicated as far as skincare goes. We want
Mm.
it to stay that simple. The only other thing that we're considering right now is adding an eye cream because the eye area is a little bit more sensitive. However, right now we're cleanser, toner, a day cream, and an anti-aging cream, and that's it. We don't want to overcomplicate things, because literally someone as busy as me, and given like just the culture and the environment that we live in these days, I know everyone's just as busy, if not busier. It's just
Right.
not realistic to dedicate, a 10-step process every single day. Like it should be as easy as wash your face. And our toner is actually a spray. So you literally spray
Hmm.
it on your face, let it
Hmm.
cool, and you put your cream on, and that's it. And you can be out the door.
I love that. That's so cool. So, would you say your product is meant for anti aging, or is it more for acne? Like, what kind of age group is it for?
What I would do is if you're under 40, I would stick to using the cream that we have as a day and night cream. It's actually both. So that's more like acne. It's a little bit more preventative as far as anti-aging goes. It helps hydrate the skin. It helps with collagen boost, antioxidants. And then the anti-aging product is separate. So you're actually picking one of two creams. So it's really a 3-step process: the cleanser, toner, and then insert cream, whatever fits your needs a little bit better. I love the anti-aging cream because sometimes I find my skin gets really dry in the winter, especially. So I'll use it like maybe every 3 days because it is definitely heavier as far as the ingredients go, and it's got that apple stem, right? So apple stem is not going to work when you don't really have the wrinkles. So
Oh, okay. Oh,
yeah,
interesting. They say an apple a day, so I guess I mean it.
absolutely.
Okay, well, let's get into this. Let's get into the process of how you develop these products, because I'd love to hear, and I'm sure everyone would love to hear about how you got from, your idea to actually launching. So, when you got the idea, what did you do first?
The first thing I did was, hey, does this exist? Like, let's Google, let's see what's happening. The product did exist. However, at the time that I was launching, it was not a very common thing. First, I had to educate myself as well. Like, does this work? Is this even worth something that I want to put in the market? Because, the second your name is attached to something, you want to make sure that it actually does work. So I guess the first step was definitely research and then finding out like who are the competitors out there. Then very quickly I discovered that, okay, it's not really a thing right now, but there's a lot of suppliers that are coming up with variations of the product that help you kind of customize it the way that you need. So automatically I was like on the phone and I started calling suppliers. Like I think I called 10 the same day right away. Yeah, I was like, I just want to get moving on this. And I'm like very quick as far as momentum goes. So I didn't want to lose that momentum. And it was kind of like a numbers game at that point, right? Whoever calls you first, whoever's willing to sort of repackage the way that I wanted, certain things like that. So that's what I was on the lookout for as the initial first step.
And so you went right into looking for suppliers, you did your market research. Did you get any feedback to know, hey, this is actually something people want, or how did you know that this would be kind of a hit?
Definitely friends and family. That was the most obvious go-to. Like, hey guys, what do you think about this? But also, I try to maintain a boundary with. I don't want to sway people's ideas as to what they think about it because it's coming from me. So I was like, hey, check this company out. Let's say a competitor. And I would be like, hey, what do you think about this? And kind of get their feedback on it without being like, I'm thinking about launching something, only because I know my friends will be like, oh, that's so amazing. My parents would be, highly supportive, or just the people in your life. Like, I feel like sometimes there can be biasness. So I always sent examples of other people that are doing it to get a feedback of like, what do you really think about this? And then
That's
everybody was
smart.
like, oh, yeah, everybody was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, I like that. I would try it. And CBD, especially last year, was like, all the rage. So pretty much everybody was like, yeah, I would try it.
So you got that sort of feedback. And then in terms of like actually developing and sourcing the product, what was that like?
So basically, I found my winning company and I was like, okay, great. Like their pricing was great. Their minimum order was really reasonable for me, something that I could do and afford at that time. They were just really organized. They were willing to customize the formulas as I wanted, provide me lab reports for everything, provide insurance documents, pretty much everything that I would want validation on as basically I'm investing into this business, right? They were willing to provide that. So I went with them. And then packaging was the next thing for me. How do I want it to look? What are the bottles going to look like? What's the jar going to look like? My labels, are they going to be clear? Are they going to be matte, shiny? So many options, right?
Mm-hmm.
And really just working with a graphic designer very closely to come up with the packaging was a big part of it. And then just getting the supplier to agree to essentially they're white labeling something for me, right? With a little bit of my own edge into it,
Mm-hmm.
with the little customizations like peppermint. And so that was the next part of the process for me.
So did you actually get the rights to use it? Like, how does that work? Or do you have not the patent, but do you have the exclusivity to use that formula, or can that manufacturer own the formula and use it themselves?
The manufacturer definitely can own the formula unless I applied for patents, but there's no point because the patents won't really do anything. If a competitor was to add a drop of aloe into a specific formula that I wanted out there, then it changes the whole game and the patent's kind of out the window. So it really doesn't matter when you're trying to patent something like a formula for skincare. A competitor or even the supplier themselves, the manufacturer, they can change one element, add or subtract something, and your patent literally is out the window. They could change the color and be like, what are you talking about?
And even if you bought the rights to that formula, like exclusivity to that formula, the manufacturer can just change it and use it themselves. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like the rights don't really matter because they're in the kitchen, really, right? Like it's kind of like let's say you're making a lasagna and you take out one layer and you call it yours. It doesn't matter. So there was really no point in me going that route. And it was something that I wasn't like too concerned with. I think timing was more essential than the actual formula. And the main ingredient being CBD, right? That's the thing to put out there.
And you mentioned testing and approvals and things like that. Did you need to go through any quality control testing and sort of safety controls in order to manufacture and sell in Canada? I'm assuming you're selling in Canada, but also North America wide or worldwide, or
So lots of little loopholes there. I definitely, I definitely did the testing through my manufacturer. So they provide lab reports and they provide like proper testing. And then, of course, I was my own guinea pig along with my family and friends. I got a bunch of samples of everything before I even placed my order of all the skincare possible. So actually testing it on your skin to see if it works, right? And that is the most important thing because if I don't believe in the product, I'm not sure if I can sell it. So that was very important to me. But as far as like lab testing goes, they provided all of the documentation for that and the insurance. Now, my product is created in America and stored in America at a fulfillment center as well. And we can chat a little bit in detail about that later. But essentially, my product is only shipped to Canada per order through e-commerce. As far as the actual where it sits, it's not sitting here. It's sitting in the States because most of my orders come from the States. So it's significantly cheaper for me to keep it there rather than me to do everything through customs here and all the legalization that has to go into selling a product in Canada. It would take me another year to even just provide them the documentation, and the licensing and all that stuff can cost upwards of 20, 30,000.
really? Wow.
Yeah. Plus insurance in Canada for a skincare company. I was quoted 50,000, 70,000, things like that. So yeah, it was significantly easier for me to just keep it there and ship it over as people order through the fulfillment.
That's interesting. So you could store it there but sell it here, yet you don't need the paperwork, the documentation, the insurance in Canada.
Well, I can only e-commerce ship it here. I can't have it in stores.
So does that mean that Canada is way stricter than the US in terms of allowing certain skincare to be sold? I mean, that's a good thing for us, but good thing for consumers.
So it's not the skincare part that they're more strict about. It's actually the CBD element. Because of CBD and marijuana specifically being legal in Canada, there's a big misconception about the CBD receptor that it can like get people high. So every product has to be tested to show that there's no THC in it, which is the element that actually gets people, high. Definitely, I'm not walking around all day high as a kite. There's no THC in our product. There's no THC in our product. It's only CBD. But because of the legalization, it's a lot harder here to get those licenses because everything's a government monopoly as far as CBD and marijuana go in Canada. Whereas in America, because it's not legal, they don't really care what's going on. It's just an e-commerce product to them.
Interesting. So you think legalization would make it easier here, but it's actually harder. So funny.
Way harder.
So you've launched into a very competitive marketplace. Like skincare is probably one of the most competitive. So hats off to you. That's amazing. And also, I wanted you to talk about like how are you growing your trial and awareness of your product within this competitive marketplace? But also, like, why did you choose skincare? Did you have hesitations? Is it going to be too competitive or not?
I absolutely was terrified, I'm not gonna lie, because you walk into Sephora and there's like 100 lines there as it is, and you're like, what do I pick? And how do you make your brand stand out, right? I think the thing that made my brand stand out was the fact that we are CBD, and you don't see a lot of that. And then I really went into it with the mentality of like, I can't be scared. Imagine if, let's say, I don't know, Revlon was scared to launch their makeup brand because L'Oreal existed, or vice versa. I'm not sure who came first, but I just shifted my mindset from like, instead of looking at it as competition, looking at it more like this is definitely a requirement that's thriving. Every company is doing just as well as the other. There's no company that's doing better than one or the other, like, and just taking everybody else out of the market. It's because there's an actual requirement. Therefore, the more skincare, the better. Like, people are definitely still experimenting and changing their routines, and they're open to new things as far as their skincare routine goes. So for me, it was more like, this is an opportunity. I think there's few industries that will always be around, like food, self-care, skincare, hair care. You'll always got to get your hair cut, those sort of things. So if you can get into products that are in those industries, I think it's very beneficial, and it can definitely last for the long run.
I love that because often we think, oh, a competitive market is not a good thing, but it actually can be a good thing because it shows you there's demand for it. And especially skincare and products that are also consumable are excellent to get into because people always need them. They're always looking for them, and especially wellness for sure.
Yeah, like it's like Nike, right? Like they can't be scared of Adidas and vice versa. Like one launches a shoe, the other launches a shoe, and they're not looking at each other, and they're thriving. So I don't get scared of competition. I like it.
Yeah, and you've definitely differentiated yourself with CBD oils, and that's certainly differentiating. It's not definitely not the same skincare as everyone else is using. And so, how are you getting awareness and trial of your product?
So that's been quite a challenge, because you cannot run ads for anything with the word CBD in it, or if the image has anything with the word CBD in it. So whether it's Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn or you name it, I've tried every platform. And I got rejected from all of them, and it's classified as promoting drugs, which it's not. So really, like, I had to go a very organic route to grow this business. It's interesting. It kind of took me back to my roots, like customer reviews. So like anytime I send a product out, I send a little card, or I send them an email or something that says, thank you for your order. I haven't been sending cards because of COVID now, but I send them an email now saying, thank you for your order. I'll be happy to offer you 25% off your next purchase if you write us a review. So things like that have helped me build the brand. Or if they share on social media, I'll keep track of it that this customer shared so that I can offer them a discount just for reorders, or even I've gone as far as reimbursing them when they did write a review if they weren't going to order again, or just given the circumstance, it just depends. The other thing is just sending my product out to like as many influencers and people with micro influence as well on social media, sending samples out to you name it. Like I've tried everybody, and sometimes it gets in their hands and sometimes it doesn't. So really creating social media momentum around that. And then if they do get it and they say, hey, we received your product, then I create a special code for them and I give them a percentage of every sale that they get, let's say 25% or 15%. And for them, it's like free money, right? Like you just have to share something, you get a code, I compensate you accordingly. So that's helped me build my brand, definitely reviews. And then the other thing is PR. I've done a lot of strong PR around the brand. Like we did a feature with Yahoo, we did a feature with ABC, NBC, just news outlets and stuff as well, just to get the word out there, because A major challenge that I've had is that knowledge gap, educating people on what CBD does. Like, to your point, your earlier question, like, why do I need CBD? Like, I know what aloe does for my skin, right? Or
Right.
you know that vitamin E is good for your skin, but why CBD? So putting out these articles through press releases and getting the features on like ABC, etc., has been helpful in filling that knowledge gap. So it's been very organic and slow and steady, and focused on like SEO and creating good content, getting influencers involved, and absolutely zero ads, zero
Wow.
paid marketing.
That is tough. That reminds me of Viagra. Do you remember how they couldn't actually advertise what their product does, so they had to be creative. And I think the Viagra campaign was just, I think it went viral. I can't remember, but it just did so well because it actually, in a fun way, advertised what they did. So you just have to get creative with how you advertise and how do you educate. And it's also interesting that it is an education gap, and also it's sort of a trial gap, because getting people to try skincare can be challenging. You're getting them out of their usual routine and into something totally new. So I can see that, that there are hurdles, but you're doing such a great job of getting out there, getting the word out through PR and so on, and growing organically. And especially people love when other people tell them what they love and what they refer. So getting trial that way through referrals or through influencers is a great way to do that.
I was just going to add on that really I learned that through Amazon, because a lot of sellers on Amazon, they like, every time I buy from Amazon, I get a follow-up email from the seller being like, hey, here's our direct website, wink wink, buy from here and we'll give you a discount. There's a company called Genius. I love them. I love their branding. And the first time I ordered from them was definitely through Amazon. They don't sell into Canada, but at the time I was in the States. And same thing, like, they sent an email, and I kid you not, I never ordered from Amazon from them again, because they were offering, yeah, they gave us 25% off to shop on their website instead. So, I mean, it's fair, it's fine. Amazon's taken out all the small guys, so if you
That's
want to
true.
help. Yeah.
Let's hope nobody from Amazon is listening to
Oops.
this.
No,
Yeah.
Amazon's great. Amazon stores are great too, because they're really the inventor of marketplace, right? And having success through that, there's no question in that. I just think that, just from me as an independent company, from my perspective, I picked up some marketing tactics from there. As simple as that, right? Like, there's a lot to learn from just purchasing from a brand on really any third-party website.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. And if you can get people to come to your website after going to a marketplace, that is key, because then you're basically keeping all the profits and you're not going through a wholesaler. What do you do for distribution or fulfillment, and how do you send your products out? Do you have any sort of shelf issues that you have to be concerned of?
So basically, from my supplier, my product went directly to a drop shipper. They're a company called ShipBob. I highly recommend them. They're amazing, so helpful. So basically, they're a fulfillment center, and they do all the shipping for you. If you have custom boxes that you want to send out with all your shipping, they do all of that too. So it's like pick packaging, essentially. And they take a fee for receiving your product, but they don't bill you every month if you want to just keep it there and you're not selling anything. They only bill you based on your sales, which is amazing. They do take that initial fee, which is a receiving and storing fee, but other than that, very reasonable. They're like, for startups like myself that are, we don't have a lot of money to blow. My product sits in Philadelphia at their fulfillment center, and essentially they do all the shipping for you. There's a calculator that they have, which is a simple plug and play into websites as well. So the customer at the time of checkout can see how much their shipping will cost them into their region. They get an automated email with their tracking. It's just great. It's great management. You can see how much inventory you have, all that fun stuff. As far as storing goes, there's no specific special rules with the CBD stuff. The shelf life is actually quite long. It's about 4 years. I don't have to worry about that aspect, which is great. And then if you have a product that has like custom boxes that you want to put it in, they do all that for you as well. They do charge an extra fee. However, honestly, it's worth it. Like, because a lot of that experience for people is the unboxing and the opening the package, especially the influencers. They won't
Right.
post it otherwise, right? So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, that's where my product sits.
That sounds like an amazing service, especially if they're not charging inventory fees or yeah, shelving fees.
Oh,
That's
they're
perfect.
amazing. I love them.
Cool. And then you can also have the special packaging, which is amazing because a lot of people don't want to use these companies because they want to give that extra something special with their package. But you're saying that you can get that as well.
Yeah, you basically create what you need to send out to your customers. You send them like a mock and they'll do it just like
Hmm.
that. And you send them the supplies. It's kind of like having somebody just, one, two, three, put everything together and send it out for you.
Oh, I love that. That's amazing. And can you tell us how has your marketing background helped you in your process?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, when I studied marketing, I actually studied broadcast journalism and communications, and a big chunk of that is marketing. So the version of marketing that I knew was always very traditional. I also grew up in a household of two parents that are business owners, so it was very natural to always be talking about marketing and how to make businesses grow and how to gain traction to retail business, to their product business, to their services business, etc. So it was very natural for me, and I've grown up in traditional marketing. However, over the years, things have transitioned into more digital marketing, where it's all about ads. It's all about running ads. And as I mentioned earlier, since I wasn't able to do that, it was actually really interesting to go back to my roots and really pull from what do I know about traditional marketing, yet selling online, which is a new thing that I've never done before in e-commerce business, right? I'm not a retail store. I'm not a walk and try this product and let me rub this on your hands and on your face, and that's not the that's not the type of business we are. So the challenge was to take the two worlds that I know of traditional marketing and digital, which is totally ad driven marketing, and combine the two, which really helped me see myself in a whole different way as well. Like as far as problem solving goes, or as far as just pivoting. It's so interesting to launch a product based business online versus retail, right? So it definitely helped me, pick and choose like what can I take from my traditional knowledge that I know of just growing up and, customer satisfaction and providing certain, nuances for your customers and building that relationship with your customer versus digital content. And that content has to look really, really, really good. And that's the only way that you're getting people on your store. So, the packaging, the aesthetics, all of that all came much later into marketing. So combining the two, and I think that's what helped me get to this middle ground with it.
And you manage two businesses right now. So, can you offer any tips to our audience who might be trying to grow multiple businesses or manage maybe their product on the side of having a family as well?
Absolutely. For me, I really believe in filling your own cup as much as possible first before you go out into the world and you get pulled in 1,000 different directions. Because with the multiple businesses, I'm answerable to clients all the time. I'm answerable to my staff all the time. All day I'm getting messages like, what do I do about this? What do I do about this? Projects, I have to keep up with projects. I have to keep up with orders. I have to keep up with so many different things. And I'm pulled in 1,000 directions that if I don't have clarity throughout myself for my day, it's really hard for me to thrive really and be somebody that can be efficient throughout the day and not get distracted. And I owe that to two things. I would say definitely meditation. I meditate 45 minutes in the morning and usually about half an hour at night. And I work out in the morning so that I can kind of get that out of the way and feel good about my energy and my momentum and connecting with my deeper self so that I can make decisions throughout the day that are easy. I don't think that we're supposed to make so many decisions all day, like, yes, do this, don't do this, the status of this, remember every single little detail about every little thing, right? However, that's also my superpower. My ability to remember every detail is what helps me really excel at what I do in all aspects. And I genuinely owe that to meditation. I started meditating when I was very young. It's something my parents have really ingrained in me. And I'm so grateful for that, because you do become a power performer at whatever it is that you do. And you become hyper focused, and you're able to really make those decisions a lot quicker and remember things that a lot of people can't remember, because it's your leverage. And I really, really think that it helps you be present. What we're missing as society in general right now is being present. And I think through this whole chapter of COVID, we've kind of been forced to do that, because you can't even plan tomorrow, let alone, the way that we were just living for the next thing, always living for the next thing, next weekend, next vacation, next paycheck, next project, next this, next that. I think it's forced us to be so present that people are realizing that they're still so distracted even in this exact moment, right? And having that focus and getting through each task with focus and presence has always been my leverage. Always, even when I was like in school. So I think it's very important to do that. I would highly recommend some sort of meditation. And being a business owner, you have to be absolutely present and aware of every single detail going in and out of your business. And that is my one recommendation. Like, please take care of your mental health and focus and fill your own cup and try to align with your own vision of what you want as the most important thing. And then everything else just lines up so much easier.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so first of all, I have to comment that 45 minutes. Holy cow. I can meditate maybe for like 5 or 10 minutes and then I go squirrely. So that's like hats off. That's amazing. I wish I can get to that. So maybe I'll just keep increasing it every time. But I really do agree though that taking this mental space, sort of the time out in the beginning of the day, is so key to just sort of getting present, and then making sure, you're right, that you're filling your cup before you're responding to all these texts and emails from everyone and doing what everyone else wants you to do. And so I really love that tip. That's great. And as well, exercise is so key. I agree, especially during this time when we're all trying to improve our mental health during COVID. And it's so important. And what are some key wins that you've had to date?
So, some key wins, I think, with my other business, we've definitely won a lot of awards in the last few years. We've actually won awards like the Best Development Agency in Ontario, Best Software Development Agency, things like that. So, those are great wins. It sounds very cliche, but it's nice to be noticed, especially in the space that I'm in as a female entrepreneur. It's a lot of hurdles to jump through and get that recognition. But as far as the skincare company goes, it's the customer satisfaction 100%. When people message you that don't know you, that are not obligated to tell you that they love what they tried. Our number one seller is the toner. I get so many messages about that. Like, I love this. It's so easy, because it's just like spray and go. People love that. So really getting those little wins for me are so important. It kind of shows me that the vision that I had is right, because it was about simplicity and making life easy, and having a product that actually works for everyone. So I love that. Those are exciting wins.
Right. That's awesome. And actually, people can't see you, but you just glow. So
Oh,
yeah, I think you could
thank
just
you.
put yourself on a billboard.
Thank you.
And all we
Thank
need to do is meditate, exercise, and use your skincare, and we will potentially look like you. I don't know.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That's so kind. And yeah, I mean, maybe I think it's also just the lighting in this room. So
Oh
don't
no, no,
worry.
no, no, no. I've seen you in other rooms.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you so
No,
much.
that's so true. What do you wish somebody would have told you before you started this business?
I wish somebody would have told me about how challenging it is to get a payment gateway when you're in the CBD space, because it's actually considered drug paraphernalia. There was only one company at the time that was providing that gateway, and they got shut down by government. And they stopped, all the banks just shut them down and said, no, we're not going to process these payments anymore. For example, like PayPal won't process, Stripe, all these Square, etc. They don't process anything in relation to CBD. So that was extremely challenging. And then I couldn't register my business in the US, even though I could get a payment processor there, but I'm not a citizen. So I would need to register to someone's house and a whole business address in America. So my only option was actually to register my business in England. So I'm actually yeah, I'm registered in England and I pay taxes there to get a payment processor in England, and I had to pay a massive fee to get that processor because I need a payment gateway on my website. So we've jumped through a lot of hoops to get there, and that's why the time between actually me having the product in my hand and ready to go versus actually going live is about 3 months.
Wow. So, sorry, what is your tie to England, or do you have no ties to England?
No ties. It's
No.
just because being a Canadian, you actually have privileges in England. You can set up a
Oh,
business and open a corporation in England being a Canadian.
well, that's
So,
cool. I did not
yeah.
know that. Wow.
Yeah. So if you ever want, I'm not sure why anybody would need to do that. Please don't do it. but but if you
Yeah.
must, you can
Mm.
very easily register your business in England and get a payment processor in sort of these out of the box industries. So that's how we're processing our payment now.
Oh my gosh.
I
Wow.
wish I knew that before.
Yeah, and you've had to go through a ton of loopholes with the advertising and payment processing. My
Oh yeah,
goodness.
oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot. And what are your top tips for people who just want to get started with their own product business?
I would say love what product you're deciding to push out. Don't just push it out because it's like top trending product on aberlo.com or something like that. Like actually love your product because that's where the longevity is. I mean, there's really two different models, right? Like you can have a drop shipping store just for volume, and that's something that you have to constantly keep changing your products, etc. And that's fine. Those are like marketplace based products. That's great. But if you're launching a product line, like whether it be jewelry or skincare, it's something that you should actually care about. And then you're much more likely to succeed versus just pushing products out there. And you'll actually jump through the hoops that I did, right? That's the thing. I actually love what I do. I can stand behind it. I can speak confidently about it. If you're coming off fake about your product, people can sense it. Like everything is energy. If you're like, oh, this is great, I promise, people can sense that versus you speaking with conviction because you've tried it and tested it and you love it. And it's like those blankets, like the onesie blankets that came out, like people spoke with such strong conviction about it that everybody was like, okay, I need this in my life, it'll make me feel secure. It's because of how they spoke about it and they believe that versus me saying, this is a great cup, you must have it, I swear it's great. So speak with conviction because it works. That's something that's really important in the product that you're selling.
Mm. That's so true with anything, I think, in business. If you have to be passionate about what you're doing and don't go into it if you don't love it, because then it's all about money and it's not going to be fun, and you're not going to, as you said, go through all the hoops and the challenges for sure. And is there anything else you'd like to add? Any stories that our listeners would like to hear?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know about stories, but something that we're doing now, kind of to help me not have to jump through so many hoops going forth, is we're launching a self-care line attached to Mahi. So it's actually going to be, we're actually going through a massive rebrand right now. So it's going to be Mahi Care going forth, but mahiskin.com will still work. And we're launching a candle line. It's going to be 4 scents, from light to musky. And really, I want to bring forth the culture of self-care and simplified self-care. Just it's little things, little moments for me that make me feel good. Like, my house smells so good today. Or, doing that soak on Sundays with the bathtub and skincare, and lighting a candle and just taking that 20 minutes to yourself just to like connect with your inner self. I think all those things enhance life so simply, but so deeply. So candles are something that I'm absolutely obsessed with. Anybody who knows me knows this about me. I find the coolest candles and I will drop money on them. I wanted to add a product that again, resonates with me, something that I love, but also something that will help us with advertising. So now I can actually run ads on social media and put up pictures of candles, and essentially the traffic's all going to route to the skincare company as well. So we're hoping to get more exposure through that, and maybe people will create bundles. That's something that I'm going to add on, little bundles, discounted bundles when you order together, etc. So it's another way for us to get more traffic, introduce a new product, something that I love, and be able to advertise. And I'm excited to see what happens when we're able to actually do that. So
that's very smart. Yeah. So bringing people to your website and then they can see the other products that are there. That's really smart. And actually self-care is such a booming industry right now because everyone's looking for ways to relax and to improve their mental state. So I think that's a brilliant idea. I love that. Perfect. Yeah. Is there going to be CBD in the candles?
No,
No. Okay. There's no benefit for that.
No.
No.
Well, actually, there is. They say that it's a great thing for aromatherapy. However, I would then again go through the same label issue
right, of
with
course.
having CBD
Yes.
slapped on. So I was like, I'm not going to do it. I just need a product that I can ship globally without being held at customs potentially. And there's no risk involved, right? Like, I think everyone's like, okay, I'm down to try a candle. It's not going to potentially mess up my skin, and really bridging the gap in between. However, if people have a good experience with our candle, I'm hoping that they'll come back and try the skincare because it won't mess up your skin, I promise.
No, perfect. And then you can remarket to them, get trial for your products. It's great.
Exactly.
So does that mean the candles would be produced in the US and stored there as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's all in the same place. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Great. Now, just if you could tell us how people can find your products, I'm sure they would love to check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. So our website is mahiskin.com. And I'll tell you a little bit about the name, actually. Mahi in Sanskrit, it means earth and all things related to earth and the beauty of the earth. So it's not the fish. It's actually
That's
about,
what I thought.
I know, it's actually about earthly beauty. And that's another part of the rebrand as well, because the Mahi Care is going to now give people a little bit more clarity as to the word Mahi. It takes away from the beauty of the actual word in Sanskrit. So mahiskin.com, which will be mahicare.com very soon. That's where you can find our products. And actually, I'm offering a discount to all the listeners today. So if you guys type in MAHI 15, Mahi 15, you will get 15% off, and that's valid till the end of the year. And, if there's anything else that you want to try, any questions, comments, please email us. The contact form is directly on the website as well, and I will personally get back to you. And I'm looking forward to connecting with some of the listeners today as well.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. That's so great. Well, I encourage everyone to go try the Mahi skincare line. And I would love to try it as well. I think it'd be awesome. So thanks so much again for coming on the show. And I look forward to seeing your new products come out soon. And I can't wait to hear more about your skincare line and your self-care line as it grows.
Thank you so much for having me. It was so fun chatting with you and talking about this fun journey that I've been on. I really appreciate it. And I can't wait to hopefully come back and, we're a big business one day and I can be like, giveaway for everybody. I want to be like Oprah.
That would be amazing. We'll do that. We'll make an appointment in a year or 2 or 5. I don't know.
Yes.
Sounds awesome. Thanks so much.
Thanks. Talk to you soon.
Thank you for listening to the Productpreneur Podcast. If you love this episode, we'd be so grateful if you could take a sec to subscribe, share it, and review it on Apple Podcasts. Your review will help more women build their own dream product business. By the way, if you have any feedback, comments, or questions, email me at info@nicoledelarzac.com. Until next time, keep dreaming up those product ideas.